if you have an increasing money supply, you know, the organic grain certificate concept, the organic grains would have the higher value than chemically produced grains with insecticide and herbicide use. I have what I think is organic farming on a large scale possible. But right now the fat, lazy bankers have control of farming and only loan money to chemical agriculture farmers, okay? So the farmers can't get to the point where you could prove that organic farming on a large scale will result in more profits for the farmers than chemical agriculture. I mean, you know, the organic farmers are basically locked out from capital. And I think that with the methane digester done right and in a lot of quantity, you know, spread out, and then animal, you know, egg production, chicken production, turkey production, hog production, cattle production, you have these manures to work with. But the human waste, if you keep it from getting contaminated, you know, with toxic metals, you know, and dangerous chemicals, then you can also use the human waste, but you got to mix carbonaceous material in with it. So that's like leaves and grass clippings. Now the reason why the farmers don't use those to, you know, feed the worms on their soil is that they got bug eggs and weed seeds in that organic matter, and that would multiply, you know, the problems that they have with weeds and pest species, bugs. So by putting it into a methane digester, that is one of the ways that you can create a, you know, a herbicide and insecticide effect without using herbicide and insecticide. And those are the key ingredients to organic farming on a large scale. But that, if you had the fat, lazy bankers and the Fed supervised by the farmers, right, so that we're making the transition, and the safety net system is trying to help the farmers, you know, make the transition to organic farming on a large scale. You only got to get one county right, I think, to prove the profitability that the farmers are going to be able to keep more money in their pockets with organic farming on a large scale. And then chemical agriculture will die a natural death. And people will want this, and it probably won't go into place until the grannies push it in place. Yeah, that's where the big boots are, you know. It ain't the politicians. I mean, I'm not worried about politicians at all in a war of ideas. I think both political parties are shooting blanks. So, but the organic grain certificate would be the highest value grain, and it might be the most profitable grain if the right infrastructure existed for the farmers. Now, this means that the construction industry building single-family homes might have to transition to building methane digester facilities or power plant next to, you know, ethanol plant. We have to minimize the energy inputs into corn production and, you know, keep the money in the county, you know, that makes it a county. So if those combines and tractors, my combine design had a similar insecticide and herbicide effect using a fertilizer, but I wanted to pick ear corn for the power plant. I wanted the power plant running on corn cobs, wood chips, junk mail from the trash system, and let me see, what was it, cardboard and wood chips. Yeah. Was it 4 of them? It was 4 of them. Corn cobs, wood chips, cardboard, and junk mail. Yeah, it's 4 of them. So that's where the power, and you can have natural gas backup for little small gas turbines as backup for peaking turbines, so that when your demand was high. But I was working on Martian colonization technology, and I'm certain that you have to augment the, you know, Martian agriculture production underground, you know, with enhanced magnetic fields. Understanding plant physiology just a little bit, okay, is all you really need. That the plant can absorb monomolecular water, very not clumpy water. And it takes a magnetic field to pull that clumpy water apart so that the water can get into these very, very small pores in the rootlets. So agriculture won't work right on Mars, and you know, in the Martian colonies, if you don't have the right magnetic field to pull the clumpy water apart. But if you have the right ion base in the soil and inside the plant, then, you know, the nutrients can get in too. So it actually results in a higher metabolism for the plant, effectively. So nobody's actually seen the full genetic potential of the plant species on this planet, because the magnetic fields are probably 1/10 of where they used to be when most plant species evolved. So this is a very important concept. But if your money was, you know, green on a greenback with a black-brown top, right? It's what's happening in the soil that's important, you know. Black-brown ink on the top with a little magnetic effect in the, right? That symbol of money is basically a symbol of high-quality humus with the right magnetic fields. But how you increase the magnetic field on a planet, you know, yeah, might need a little magic on that one, but we can talk about that one later. But the experiments I did with enhanced magnetic fields were very, very small scale, not documented right. They need to be redone by University Agriculture, you know, maybe up at U of I. and that would need to be done. But the concept of an organic grain certificate, basically, it doesn't really mean that gold can't be valued in relation to the currency. It's just that you're backing up the money supply with organic grain, which is far more important than gold. People wanted to hold gold in ancient days because it didn't spoil, didn't get eaten by mice, and it was harder to steal because a little bit of gold could be hidden where you couldn't hide a lot of grain. So, you know, armies came through, the first thing they stole was the grain. So, ancient money theorists, I think, were more correct. The farmers were far more important in ancient culture than the fat, lazy bankers. And when you look at the Republicans and they say they respect the Bible, I mean, Jesus never turned his back on the money changers in the temple. So, you know, having an unregulated fat, lazy banker system without supervision of the Fed is like turning your back on the money changers in the temple. So their actions don't match up with what they think they believe. So, you know, I can't ever justify unregulated banking system without, you know, supervision of the Fed. I can't justify that by the Bible. And the Republicans, you know, should get their heads out of their butts on that one, because they almost brought the economy down, and they're gridlocking, you know, Washington, D.C. Now, Obama's ideas, he's not doing his own thinking yet. I mean, I got a picture of him here somewhere, but he's not that bad. He shares the little Debbie, so he's not the bad puppy. So, this guy, Mitt Romney, the mismanagement guru for profit. This guy steals little Debbies from the workers' puppies, the two-legged puppies, the four-legged puppies. So he only shares them with Mormon puppies, you know. So I mean, but he's running on liberal bullshit artist thinking from the Ivy League professors. He's not doing his own thinking yet. He's not. Maybe I can turn him into a Jeffersonian liberal. Where we try something else. But Sherwood Forest would be run by the grannies, like Sherwood Forest was, and they'd be focusing on helping the farmers and enhancing soil fertility for the support they got. You don't necessarily give them any money. You give them some housing, you got soup kitchen, you got, you know, work for them to do, you know. And it's not exactly the WPA and CCC style projects that were unfocused and, you know, all over the place, but enhancing soil fertility is in everybody's best interest.